Okay, so this video is going to be geometric series types. Now, unlike arithmetic series, geometric series actually have several different types. For good reason. Geometric series are a little bit more complicated. So, it's going to be split off to two different groups, well, main categories, I guess. Finite, and infinite. Okay. So, finite series is just any regular series. So, it's a bit like arithmetic series, how you would have a AR, because we're multiplying now. AR squared, AR cubed, and you would just choose like which n value to stop at. So you should remember n values, but so let's say this is n equals 3, right? You would stop at this n value, and you would say, okay, I want the sum of these. You would exclude this. Or maybe you wanted to include all of them, like that. That would also work. So it's a finite series because you're stopping at a certain place. Infinite series are a little bit different. They actually have two different types. Okay, I'm just going to type those out. Actually, convergent, and divergent. Okay, so convergent series is where r is less than 1 and greater than -1. So what does this mean? That means that r is always going to be a decimal that decreases the value. So that means that AR would be less than A, right? And in this case, eventually you're going to reach, actually let's just give an example. Okay, let's say you have 2, and let's say your R value is 0.5, so you're dividing it by 2 every time, right? 1, so it goes 2, 1, and then we would say 0.5, 0.25, 0.125. It would keep getting smaller and smaller, right? So if it keeps getting smaller and smaller, eventually you're just going to disregard all of the really small numbers, like extremely small. So when you do that, you're able to use a formula for the sum. Now this is unlike divergent series, which we're going to get into. But it's important that you understand that convergent series can actually be, the sum of convergent series can be found using a formula. So divergent series are a different story. Divergent series is where r is actually greater than 1 or less than -1. So this means that whenever you have r, it's going to increase the magnitude of the prior value. So let's say you had a, then you had a times -5, okay? Then a is going to be much bigger in either the negative or positive direction than it was before. So you might be thinking, wow, it's really impossible to find the sum, right? And it really is, with a formula at least. So there isn't a formula for divergent infinite series, but it is a type of series, so you do need to know it. So for overview, finite series can be found using finite series sums can be found using a formula. Convergent series sums can be found using a formula, and divergent series cannot. Finite series is where you choose one, and you say, okay, I want that value. I want to find the sum up to that value. So, and then you would plug it into the formula, which we're going to go over next video, and you would find the sum of these three. Or if you wanted, you could continue to go up and find the sum of those four. Now, convergent series, they're the same. There's a specific formula for them, and they're convergent. So that means that it keeps getting smaller and smaller until you can just disregard the numbers, right? And divergent, they just keep going up, and they get really big. So when they get that big, there's honestly, you could write infinity, but that's a little bit, it's not very accurate when you write infinity. So geometric series types, one subcategory, 3 different main types. It can either be finite or infinite. Okay, thank you.